Hi, everybody. Oh, look at that. Let's turn some light on this situation. Here we go. Sorry, I wasn't going to do the show because Aaron couldn't be here. Bring the studio over. There we go. Going out on a special event. Are you invited? If you want to. It's a general meeting I've got to go to. Look, I look so red because of this. All right. So here's the thing. I'm alone. So what do I talk about? Why don't we start with the Jays? Did you see that game last night? Was that a single or wasn't it a single? I think it was a single. And that strike after that foul ball that was really a single was a ball, not a strike. You know, you gotta love Major League Baseball. So now the Yankees are one game behind the Jays, and everybody in baseball world, especially in America, is pulling for the Yankees. Nobody wants the Jays to win, except for us up here in Canada, Ontario. I wonder why it's doing that. Anyway, so the problem with the Jays right now is they're pitching. You know all that. You know all this stuff, right? You know all the information. Their pitching's a bit of a problem. Santander is coming out. He's coming back into the lineup. Lately, their hitting has abandoned them. That's a for sure. I don't know why this thing looks so silly, but anyway. So the hitting's not working for the Jays, and that's too bad. Their pitching not much better. The Yanks are a game behind. Even if the Jays and Yanks are tied, the Jays have the tiebreaker. So they're really actually a game ahead. But they go from being a game ahead to behind after the next one. So they've got really two chances to finish first. And they've used up one, that was 3. So the Red Sox are a tough team. The White Sox, on the other hand, not so tough. So the Jays are in tough. Do you like this team? Do you like the way it's hitting? Do you think things are gonna fall apart on them here at the last minute? I think they'll pull through. So far this year, whenever they've gone into a nosedive, they've risen up just in time. And boy, is now just in time. The next game, they need to win the next game. And if they do, they will be okay for a little while because then they have 4, right? So if the Jays win, magic number is 4. That brings them down to 3. And if the Yankees lose at the same time the Jays win, they're down to 2. So now that I've explained all the math, what has to happen for the Jays is they have every opportunity. And like last night when I was watching the game, I was watching the Leaf game and watching the Jays game. I'm watching the Jays game, men on first and third with none out. They get 1 run. Then they first and third again. They don't get any runs. Oh, it's got to be tough. It's got to be tough being a Blue Jay fan. Let's switch over to the Leafs, and we saw a game that the Leafs took a 2-0 lead. They went in with their better lineup. They beat Ottawa 4-3 with their rookies, if you will, and they came back with their stars, and they lost 3-2 in overtime. Again, the problem here is between Riley and Matthews, there was nobody fast enough to catch Pinto. Not enough speed in overtime. And unfortunately, like in that big series they had last year, Austin Matthews loses his man, and they end up losing the big game. That was the big game, the 4 nations. This time, he, I guess, underestimated the speed of his opponent, and Pinto just skated away from him, and the goaltender didn't come up big. He had a great game, the first game against Ottawa, but in alone, a lot of the good faith that he created disappeared on that one play. The deke, well, his jockstrap's probably in the back of the net right now. The Leafs right now, this is the thing about Toronto. Matthews is going to have to prove he can lead this team. He's been sheltered by a guy like the man who shall remain nameless by virtue of the lightning rod of everything bad about the Leafs went to Marner. Marner's now in Vegas, and now this was not a good thing that Austin Matthews did. It's one game. one shift, one time. Unfortunately, it happened in the Battle of Ontario. In overtime, it basically put Matthews and of course, their defenseman, Riley. Nobody took the lead man. Nobody had the lead man. Riley trusted that Matthews had Pinto, but he didn't. He was behind Pinto. That should have been a switch right there. Riley should have gone for the guy going on the breakaway. He had the inside track on him, and he was the most dangerous player. And the defenseman on the ice, even though overtime doesn't count because you only have 3 guys on the ice, but the most dangerous guy, the defenseman, has to make sure he gets him because he's the guy who's trained to handle taking away opportunities from offensive players in the defensive zone. So he didn't do that, and the price was paid by the Toronto Maple Leafs. They lose 3-2 in overtime. Hopefully there's a lesson to be learned there. We saw some McMahon got a goal. He didn't score anything the last double digits, maybe 20 last game, something like that. He didn't score last year, and in the playoffs he was even less productive. They're going to need him to be productive, and the Leafs are going to need some points from somebody because 102 points went away, and now those 102 points need to be made up if you think that matters in relation to how many points you make in a season, which was like 103 or something that they made. So the Leafs lose, the Jays lose. Tough time to be a Leaf fan and a Jay fan. Last night was a tough night. We'll see what happens in the future, but I got to tell you, the Jays got to win tonight. They've got to prove those bats are alive, and they've got to prove it tonight. And the good thing about the Blue Jays is once they establish their bats and show that they can hit and score some runs, they get into a bit of a run. They need a bit of a run, and now they need a bit of a run that takes them to the end of the season, and then they sit and chill for a little while if they finish first, and let the teams use their starting pitchers that they're going to be up against, whoever the winner is, and then go from there. So the advantages are for the Jays if they can finish first. If the Yankees finish first, it's going to be a tough road for the Jays. They'll probably meet the team that they're meeting right now and having trouble against. That's the Boston Red Sox. All right, this concludes our quick, brief program tonight. We hope you enjoyed it. You can check us out on YouTube, Candid Frank's Nation 1030 YouTube.